but design feels fresh, beautiful. I want to know that it costs a lot of money. I am just getting started.
Pleasure to meet you. Welcome. So I actually read that you originally started your business 13 years ago from your basement, and now that you're starting in your own series, and I think that's such an incredible journey. I always kind of admire female entrepreneurs. What would you say are like some of the key challenges that you kind of faced early in the days of like building your brand?
I mean, name a challenge, I faced it for sure. I started my own business in 2010 and I did everything at the beginning. You know, it was like just small, tiny little things. I remember I had a family friend moving into a retirement home. That was one of my first jobs, to like decorate her room. Everything from like that to picking one pillow for a living room. I did everything. And, at the beginning, I remember my clients didn't have assembly budgets. So I would go to IKEA, pick up the stuff myself, and like bribe my friends to come and assemble IKEA furniture for my clients at the time. So it's definitely been a journey, that's for sure.
I mean, it paid off, right?
I think, what, I actually feel like the best way to do and learn anything is to do it organically. And sometimes that means starting at the beginning. I always say to my team, like every job they do, I've done myself in some capacity at some point, definitely not as well as they do it. But I understand all of it. And I think that it's, starting kind of a little bit slower and taking the time to understand the business, make sure I'm so well versed in construction. And, everything that we do has been really beneficial for growth.
Yeah, so how did you go about assembling such like a cohesive and power dynamic group?
It started with one person, and it's just grown. We're a team of 13 now, and everything's sort of what we need and then filling that role. So, jobs are being created, I think, all the time. And the way in which it's sort of, we always look at like what's not working for us right now, or who's feeling really overwhelmed, or, what's something that we think if we added somebody to take over this would be better for the company. So, we've always kind of looked at it that way. And I think that's helped us to figure out when we hire someone, what we need them to do. And then in terms of the actual people that I work with, I've been so blessed to have like such incredible people, predominantly women, come through the doors, and lots are still with me and some have moved on to other things, and we still have, wonderful relationships. But we have no room for drama. There's no kind of hierarchy. Everybody helps each other out. I feel like we've all worked in offices and in situations where you're constantly walking on eggshells when you get to work, and you like never know what somebody's mood's gonna be, or like how they're gonna make you feel that day, or if your boss is gonna yell at you. And I just don't ever want that. So I'm probably I'm like definitely highly inappropriate as a boss / human. I don't really care about norms. I care about meeting targets and getting things done. Everybody works differently. And I care about women being supportive and loving and bigging each other up. So that's something I just really wanted to build.
So I mean, I'm kind of curious, in the pros, and you work on all kinds of other sort of designs. Like, what's kind of your favorite? Like, do you have a specific design that you like working on? Do you like working on like those remote houses, or like more of the condos or residential?
So we mostly do luxury residential, which again has been built organically throughout, the last kind of 15 years. But that's kind of, I think, our bread and butter at this point, is taking something from beginning stages to the end. So sometimes that's building, sometimes that's just decorating, sometimes it's a combination of both. But at this point, most of our projects that we're working on are sort of full scale.
And in the House of Ali, like we really, and even just speaking to you now, we really get to kind of see your like leadership on like full display, and it's really awesome seeing that. How do you hope that your story will kind of inspire other women in design and just like professionally and personally?
I think that, for so long, and honestly, even now, women are up against it professionally. I think we have different challenges. I think that oftentimes we're looked at differently. Even for me, I work in construction. So I deal with a lot of men. And even at this point, I'm still showing up for meetings sometimes, having to prove that I know what I'm talking about. And I find that insanely frustrating. I think by having a team of all women, we're able to create a space that can help people find their own voices and confidence in these kinds of situations, and then hopefully take that with them. I think there's enough room for everybody. The only person I'm competitive with is myself, really. I think that we need to sort of lean into this notion that like, I'm not a girl boss. I like want to roll my eyes every time I hear somebody say something like that, because it just, to me, pinpoints exactly what the issue is. Like, I'm just a boss, and I think trying to sort of figure out those sort of stereotypes and look at those different things is something that I feel really passionate about. I also, I'm proud of the show because it definitely is very real and follows, what we do day to day, my career, our dynamics, our team. But I feel so proud that I have a group of women in a reality show, for all intents and purposes, that are really loving and supportive. Like, nobody's the villain. Like, nobody's playing sort of these stereotypical roles that women have to play in groups when they're on TV together. And I want to get rid of that.
Is there any like piece of advice that you would give to let's say any aspiring designers, or even just any like female entrepreneurs?
When you're young, one of the biggest I mean, I'm very young still, as you can see, but when I was younger, let's say, I was always so worried with what everybody else thought about me. And I wanted to emulate other people that I thought were successful. And I think that finding that confidence within yourself and doing things your way and trusting your own decisions and your own gut. Like, I always know now as a grown-up, if I have to ask a million people's opinion, I'm trying to convince myself. Like, I always already know what feels like the right answer for me. So I think no matter what you're doing, when you're starting out, you have an intuition and you have a gut response to things. When you're not being treated right, when you're in a bad situation, when there's something that you should be doing in a way that you think you should be doing it. And I think trusting yourself and not trying to emulate other people's success would be the best way to authentically go forward and find your own place in whatever you're trying to do.
So did you say like listening to your gut feeling, right? Kind of along those lines?
And I think just being yourself, not try like that person's successful, so I'm going to do exactly what they did, or like, I also think this notion of just being famous for any reason at all is insane. So it's like, if you want to be on Instagram or TikTok or social or whatever, like, find something you're actually good at and then do it.
Well, no, thank you for that. So my final question is, before we wrap up here, here we're all about going the extra mile. How do you go the extra mile, whether that be in your personal life or a professional life?
I mean, I have 3 kids and a husband and 2 dogs and a business and a TV show. I just launched a property in Costa Rica for rent. So I'm busy. There's a lot going on. I really try and just be like, whatever I'm doing in this moment, in the moment, I try and be present. And I think in this world of distractions, that's going the extra mile. So, and I'm with my kids, I'm really trying to be with my kids. When I'm working, I'm trying to focus on that. You know, when I'm filming or doing that, like whatever I'm doing, I'm trying to just live in that moment. And I think that's doing it. I don't know. I have so many miles. I need more minutes in a day.
Honestly, oh, no, that was such a great answer. Thank you so much. Like, you know, being like a female entrepreneur myself, it's so nice to kind of hear from you and just like seeing all your success and milestone. And I'm sure other women can relate or just people in general. So thank you so much. Thank you, Amy. Appreciate it.
Thank you.